Another trip around the sun. And you know what today means? I get to do one of my favorite things. I just cracked open a brand new Leuchtturm 1997, but this time I got 120 gram weight. Now, that might not mean something to some of you. Some of you know exactly what it means. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of journaling for content creators, especially those of us that are a little bit neurospicy. I think journaling is super important because it allows you to be creative on the days where you don't feel like being creative. And so what I want to do is take away some of the misunderstandings about journaling. I'm going to explain a little bit about why I think it's important, and this is proven through many, many ways. And I want to give you some simple techniques that would allow you to start a journaling habit that you can actually stick with. So the first misconception that I completely want to take away, and I like to take these away first, is that it has to be some fancy, cute journal with all these cool layouts and washi papers and 17 color pens. Because unfortunately on YouTube, that's what gets shared a lot. And a lot of people believe that's the way you got to do it. And well, you don't. I also want to take away the fact that you don't need to do something crazy like buy this lovely Leuchtturm. Oh, did I say it right? Leuchtturm. It means lighthouse. Leuchtturm. German people, help me out. Anyway, you don't have to buy one of these like, $30 leather bound doohickeys. I wanted to test this one out because it had that 120 gram paper, which means it's just fancy for people like me who like to write in fountain pens. If you write in a plain Jane All-American ballpoint pen, you are fine. So you don't need a fancy book. You don't need a special type of book, and you don't need a bunch of color pens and markers and weird things like that. You can start with something as simple as a 99-cent notebook or my favorite little field journals. And as a matter of fact, if anybody decides to start with something like this, I'm going to tell you the first thing you should do the first time you do this is you've been to a conference lately or your doctor's office or somebody gave you a free notebook when you updated your insurance. Use that. Use that until you get there. You can even start out with a stack of scratch papers and try to get like that first 30 days in. Okay, so let's break out 6 of the simple types. And the main reasons for this is it does absolutely boost your creativity. Journaling absolutely boosts your creativity because it doesn't allow for things to be stuck. And when your head is stuck, other ideas can't move. It also supports consistency because it's one of the easiest habits to do and maintain consistent as long as you follow a couple simple rules. And if you stick tight, I promise you I'm going to tell you that. And that's not some weird YouTube hook. It's just I'm doing this in order because that's how my brain is. Okay. And then, as I mentioned before, according to my notes, it is really helpful for neurodivergent people. My therapist even told me to do so. And strangely enough, one of the reasons for this is it does allow you to have an excellent, easy dopamine hit because you do it and you're finished and you're like, boom, I knocked something out. And for us, every time we finish something, we're like, we feel good about it. Okay, so it's also a low energy task. Anyways, let's dive in. Some simple techniques. One of the easiest. Let's start with the easiest way possible. A daily log. Okay, and so what a daily log is, plain and simple, you write down just quick bullet points about what you did today. Where is my little doohickey here? I do this in this, don't do what I'm about to do. I use a field notes for that, and it kind of should, if you're starting out, start at one notebook, but I'm weird. So it literally says, I met with Jill, my homie, right? I did some planning for this speaker thing that I'm going to do. And I prepped for a presentation that I had this morning, and I did a video about using the Ethernet cable for the iPhone. Like that was legit yesterday. And I cheat. I actually use one of these to stamp my date rather than write the notes down because that's a sign that I completed it. Just like, when you take your papers into the state and they go tikang, that little thing right there, it gets my little goat right there. So literally, I keep a daily log just of things that I did. Now, of course, the most famous version is probably the morning pages from Julia Cameron and Mary Lou, Caleb, Gretchen, Alicia. A bunch of our people in the LGL family are going through this. And it's basically every day you write 3 pages. In the beginning, start out with 5, 10, 15 minutes, just whatever comes to mind. This is known as a stream of consciousness style journal. Whatever's in the head, you write it down. You don't back up, you don't edit, you don't course correct, you just write. And yes, there are a bunch of really cool software tools, including one from Apple, to allow you to do this. I highly recommend you do this with pencil and paper. Number one, the distraction of the device is out of the way. And number two, there's a better connection with your brain when you write something versus type something. It simply is. And while, yes, you can be Captain Kirk and record it, but again, it's a better connection for your brain if you write it versus speak it. Now, I know I have told you many times to record it as a video or record it as an audio, but that's just because if you're not going to do anything, those are better than doing nothing. But if you can bring yourself to grab a pencil and go to town, much better for your body. Okay, of course, for all of my pious people, and something you hear an awful lot when you're dealing with grievance, is to do a gratitude journal. And this is simply where you write down 3 things that you're grateful for today, and sort of what role they played in your daily life. This is one of my favorites. Something I've been doing for quite a while now is having a gratitude journal, because when I first traveled away to a different country and I spent some time there, and when I came back, I realized how good life is here. And we're so bad at appreciating how good life is here in the US and some of the other places where you gotta live that is not as bad as some of the places I've been to. So I love to do a gratitude journal. I think it's very helpful, and it can kind of keep you grounded, for lack of a better terminology. And then the next type was known as a prompt-based journal. Now, this is where you take a daily prompt, like, what was my small win today? What was something that I'm curious to figure out next? What am I learning? What is my progress? Things like that. You just have a daily prompt and you write about it and you call it done. That one's easy. And there are a bunch of places where you can actually buy a journal at Barnes & Noble, and they're normally always on sale and super, super cheap if you have one in your neighborhood. I'm sure you can grab them from Amazon. It's literally called a prompt journal. It has a question at the top and you fill it out every day. I've done them. I'm not quite a fan because sometimes I get that question. I don't like that question. I don't feel like writing about it, and it makes you skip a day. So I'm not a fan of these, but if it helps you, by all means. And rather than buying one of these books, and if you talk to your chatbot a lot, your chatbot knows you better, tell your chatbot to give you the next 30 days of journaling prompts, because it knows you better than a blank book or blank PDF you picked up from some, journaling person's website. All right, that's just my tip. You can take it or leave it. There is also what's known as the visual journal or the sketch journal. This is something that I did a lot when I was in school, didn't even know I was doing it. I always had these doodles every day, like a little book. And it's kind of just clearing your mind and exercising the demons. I have exercised the demons. Just like, drawing little scribbles here and there. It's really helpful because it just activates your hand, and there is some kind of left brain connection it has to do when your hand is activated. So that one is super good. I'm not that artistic, but I can, scribble a little bit. But it's just like, draw something, whatever comes to mind. Pictures, diagrams, snip some photos. If you're going to use an app on your phone, again, try to use paper. You can take the photo that you took that day, move it into the journal, write a quick little piece, just so you know what's going on. And then the last type I'll speak of, there's many, many more, but one of the last types I'll speak of is like a quick 5-minute review. And you basically do this every night before you turn in or before you start to wind down. You grab your little journal. You just write down a couple of things. What did you do that day? What were the challenges you faced? What do you got coming up tomorrow? What are the 3 big things you got coming up for tomorrow? So let me help you get started. Again, any type of paper. Little notebook like this. One of these fancy looking leather-bound Bujos. 99-cent compo book from the 5 and Dime. She was working 5 and Dime. Her boss was Mr. McGee. Simple. And start with a practice of trying to get first 7 days done. Don't skip a day. If something happens and you do skip a day, don't beat yourself up. Don't sweat it. Just go right back to the next day. Now, some things that I do is today, my birthday. So I bought a brand new book. I start a new book on my birthday. I fill it out. When it's finished, I go buy the next one. So this is replacing this. It doesn't always take me a whole year to fill them up because some years I'm busier, I write way more stuff. Some years I'm not as busy, I write way less stuff. If you don't finish a whole page, I personally don't like the date page journals because not cheap, but I don't like the empty space. So I'll start filling out the next. So if I only got this much today, I start here tomorrow. Some of these journals are designed for you to write 1 page every day. And then that really, it can get a lot of books. So I tend to just draw a line and start the next day and then use my little stampy stamp to start there. So keep it simple. In the beginning, maybe if you don't have any experience doing this, start out with a single one line or a single one paragraph. Just keep it simple. Don't think about it. Don't over edit. Don't even scratch anything out. I have a white out pen for me. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, but try not to get stuck on editing. It's really to get what's in your head out because it frees up your head to have something else to think about. And I think this is a very big winner for content creation because it allows you to reflect and revisit the things that you've been working on. So I come back to mine every couple of months and I read what I was stuck on, kind of laugh at the things that I overcome. I think about the things that I thought I was going to do that I didn't do, and it's a reminder to course correct. And it lets me just sort of re-strategize, replan, readjust, track my habits. I love tracking my habits in my journal. This is how this time I've been able to lose weight because I stayed tight on tracking that habits. And it allows you to just capture some low-hanging fruit because you wrote about an idea 6 months ago, you forgot about that idea, and you're like, oh my God, that was a killer video that could possibly help me, help the channel, help out a bunch of people who I make this video for, and I completely forgot to do it. So that's what that's for. Take your quick capture, move it in, find some new ideas that you just left on the table, and then you can just come back to this. So for content creators, that is kind of a gold mine to look in your brain and see what your brain was braining just a little bit back. And it allows you to track your growth. It allows you to see your progress because if you don't measure it, how can you improve it? So again, start simple. Start with a simple one-line journal. Just reflect on what you did today. If you see a video like this and the video impacts you anyway, grab your journal, write it down. Like that dude, Doc, told me to start a journal today. I think I'm going to do it. Here's how I'm feeling about it. I'm struggling. I'm a little nervous. I'm worried. Do I have a fancy pen? Don't need a fancy pen. But just write that stuff down. And even if you just kept a journal of the videos that you watch on YouTube that said something incredible and you wanted to make it work, trust me, if you take the time to stop and write it down, it will stick better and you won't forget. Second, if you take the time to stop and leave a comment, then it'll stick better. And then thirdly, if you take the little hook button and share it with a homie, it'll stick even more. If you activate upon the things when they first hit you, when the la hits you, it hits you hard. Anyway, when it first hits you, it will stick better. So if you're worried about I keep learning stuff and then not doing it, it's because you're not activating. And action works. Action leads to progress. Even if it's a small action, it leads to progress. So do yourself a favor. You don't have to wait till your birthday. I start on my birthday. You can start anytime. But try to get 7 days in first, then take it out to 30, and then see how long it takes you. But I really think everybody should be journaling. It will really help you out with your melon. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's my birthday, so I said it to you anyway. If you like this video, press the like button, press the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. And right about now, the algorithm is going to show you another video I think you should watch, and I agree with him.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence to let them